fans. Tony Dunn here. I'm about to bring Cody Lashley up into this podcast. Just let me give me a moment to get my screens right and do some things. The C3 Panthers at Redskins post-game show. Be a part of that show by getting your voice heard not only in the chat room but calling into the show. And we'll play your take, your response before the show's over. The number's 252-228-5098. Call us. Let us have it. Tell us what you're feeling. 7 punches, ate some eggs, got some protein, got in there. But questionable clock management as usual at the end of the game for the Panthers, and they fall 23-17. Let's go to Cody Lashley up in here. Cody, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing fine, man. As fine as I can feel after a loss that, man, we had it right at the end and just could not bring it in. I think there's a lot of blame to go around for this loss. Cam, he missed some throws that he should have made, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I'm getting closer and closer to sounding the alarm on this defense. I think we have a problem.
All right. Panthers fall 23-17. Continue. You guys can be a part of the show again by calling into the Cat Calls line. We got some calls queued up. We're going to get there in just a second. Cam Newton goes 27 for 40, 2 touchdowns. He's listed as only having 1 interception. Was it a fumble as well? Or no, I felt like there were 2 turnovers him, but I guess there were 2 fumbles by DJ Moore. That was one of the problems in this game. That put us behind the 8 ball. You know, let's go ahead and we'll just kind of quickly I gotta say this. I just feel like this. I want to get your thoughts on that final drive, Cody. I gotta pull up the chat and get this going on. The final drive, you know, we get the ball back again. It's very much in the vein, I feel like, of last week, except for tons and tons of time on the clock after the longest drive in the history of football that only went 40 yards. I feel like the Redskins, they had this drive that just would it was like a quarter long drive, Cody, that went from the third quarter to the into the fourth quarter, but we get the ball back. I feel like we hold them to 3. It's a win in many ways. 3 minutes left, and boy, after the 2-minute warning, we just look completely out of it.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong, but I mean the fact that we only had 1 possession in the third quarter. I mean, look, plain and simple, and we have a lot of other people in the chat right now. Richard's Outdoor World, Big Chief TP, they're already saying it is time to sound the alarm on our defense. Our defense did the offense no favor. Now, everyone says that we're defenders of Cam Newton, and listen, it's time to be critical of Cam. It was the overthrow to Christian McCaffrey that would have been a touchdown in the end. Greg Olsen threw his hands up. He felt he had won the matchup with his defender, that he was open on the underneath. And, you know, I don't know if Joe's joining us today, but on Twitter, our man Joe Riolano, you know, I agree with him. He was saying, why go for all the points in the end zone, move the ball, get the first down, take more time off the clock? We saw what Cam Newton and Torrey Smith did, you know, on the previous offensive drive. And it just seemed like they were trying to do too much. Cam made some bad decisions. And I don't know, man. It really does seem that there's a lot of blame to go around with him. He was saying that this was why on go Cam Newton, and it wasn't all on the defense. This was a team loss, and we have a lot of things that have to be fixed. And we're going into Philadelphia. That's not an easy fix.
That is not an easy fix. You're right. And so I felt like, look, we're down. I didn't realize this. 17-point comeback for the team is the franchise record. This team's never come back from more than 17. They had the opportunity to be that today. I saw another stat. I had this one. This one was a hard one to believe. They've never come back from 11 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, in Panthers history.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, gosh, I thought you were going to just say this season. No, Panthers history. Those numbers are pretty perplexing to me. It shows you how we truly and so historically have been a we got to play from ahead type of team. All right, so this is a terrible drive for me, and it really, you really look like this, is that I feel like going into that moment, down 6, you're in an opportunity on the road, 3-minute drive, 3 minutes on the clock. You can go down. You held them. You had a big win by keeping this a 1-score game before that. But it really, to me, it turned at 1 minute. It was Cam Newton rushes for a first down. We're in their territory. I think we're on like the 40 or something to that effect. Cam rushes for the first down, and we don't call a timeout. The clock clicks and clicks from like 108 down to 47. We then throw a pass over the middle, I think, to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey goes down in the middle. Then we call our first timeout. And then becomes that moment of Joey where we forced in so many ways while we get into, I think that's 2nd and 5. We get into a position where maybe what Joey's saying is that, like, instead of going for it all, if you would have called that timeout with 1:08 left or 1:02 left, then you could consider working that first down marker more and more. So to me, this comes down to, this is 3 errors. This is a convergence of errors to me, or at least questions. You got to question how Cam Newton has played in the vertical game. And his timing routes, and I think that throw to McCaffrey was a spot throw where he knew one-on-one, I'm going to go here and we're going to do this, and he was just he didn't put it in the right spot. But then you go, this is that, why didn't Ron Rivera call a timeout? I almost wanted him, Cody, to call a timeout when the Redskins kicked that 56-yard field goal and try to ice him. So
that way we can put the game on Graham Gano again to tie it up.
Well, talk about this, is that the guy only made it by like 4 inches.
Yeah, he did. I mean, listen, man, the thing that, I'm not ever going to expect Ron Rivera to be good with timeouts, because why would we? I mean, he's proven to not be good with them. When we don't have them, we need them, and then when we have them, we don't use them. And that's all on Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera, he's good at a lot of things, but the things that he's bad at, he's glaringly bad at, and time management is one of them. Using timeouts is one of them. It's not something that he's gotten better at in the entirety of his time here. It's kind of a different topic, but one of the things I've noticed about this Panthers football team for a long time is that when you steal the momentum from us, it's so hard to get it back, man. Whenever DJ Moore just, tried to do more on that punt return, and he just fumbled the ball right to him, it was almost like, there's no way they're not going to have a touchdown here. And then our offense is rolling later on. Slant pass hits DJ in stride. DJ's running, and then Josh Norman, our old buddy, old pal, old friend, just punches the ball out.
Peanut punch.
The peanut punch, man. The peanut punch lives on. And I don't know what the problem with our team is that, we're almost like front run. Not almost, we are. We're front runners. When we have the ball in our hands and, we have a touchdown advantage, everything goes our way, we're doing all right. But when we have to fight from behind, it's just, I don't know what it is, man. Those DJ Moore fumbles, I think, hurt us tremendously, more than we even think, If DJ pulls in that slant, dude, we're moving, we're rolling, putting the ball in the end zone maybe, but just stole all of our momentum.
Yeah, they totally a thing that obviously I think that it shows that we haven't come back from more than 11 in a fourth quarter or more than 17 total. It kind of shows that. All right, guys, we're gonna get to your takes. A lot of chat in the chat room. We're gonna be featuring that as well. You can call into the show right now. We're gonna start, firing away those calls. The number is 252-228-5098. Have your voice heard on the #1 Panthers podcast out there. Here we go, Cody. Let me just make sure that I got everything queued right. Looks like it is. Let's see if this works.
Hey, this is Mel Mayock calling From FedEx Field in Washington, D.C., trying to walk out. It's a little loud here. Went with the Roaring Riot group to the game for the Capitol takeover. Came in a little bit short. Rough game all the way around, really was. I mean, it started out really good, and then DJ Moore's turnovers really kind of set the mojo going backwards, and we never recovered. Ham was not that sharp, but he wasn't the reason we lost.
I agree.
It's kind of depressing, but we got to keep pounding. We'll be back. Later, guys.
All right, that's Mel Mayock with the On the Field report. That's the C3 field report. So there with Roaring Riot. Looks like they represented pretty hard. You could hear them in the crowd cheering Luke. Before I play the next call, let's talk about that for a second. Where are our guys? Aren't our guys right now? I don't feel like, Cody. I don't know if I have really. I just feel like Luke has been a non-factor in the last couple of weeks for this team. KK Short is nowhere to be seen. And it just seems like the guys, I think Funchess is all of a sudden the guy on the team that is one of the guys who's playing. Where are our guys? I feel like they're missing, man. I mean, I guess Peppers got in there and had a pretty good day today.
Yeah, we had 2 sacks, one from Shaq Thompson, and one from Julius Peppers. But I still think it's the same thing. We're not getting home enough. And then when we did get pressure, that's when they were able to gash us down the field, and they made plays whenever the pocket did collapse on them. Alex Smith just stayed steady and just threw the ball, went through his reads and threw the ball where it needed to go. And it burned us. It's like when our secondary was playing well, our defensive line was playing well. When our defensive line was playing well, our backfield, or vice versa. When one was playing bad, the other was playing good. And, it's called complementary football. We're not playing complementary football. And, they're having to make up for all these deficiencies around the field. And it's hurting everyone right now. But you're right, though. As far as, Luke hasn't made a ton of noise. Neither has, K1 Short. There's been a few guys that have really just been sort of absent, particularly on defense. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now, man. I think Devin Funchess is easily the best wide receiver on our football team. Until Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore prove otherwise, Devin Funchess makes some of the best plays from our receiving core, and it's not even close. He has been an incredible jump ball receiver for us. That touchdown in the end zone that he made was just incredible. And Devin Funchess gets a lot of crap from Panthers fans. But it's also time to give them
that's me. That's the truth.
Something salad, something Tony Dunn.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we have to give props where props is due. Devin Funchess right now, he is our most dependable receiver on the team, and I don't think it's close.
All right, the number's 252-228-5098. Let's keep getting into these calls.
What's going on, guys? This is your boy, Brandon Herbert.
Uh-oh.
And
trouble.
Not even going to yell. Not even going to yell. Because, I am upset. I'm upset for a few reasons. I know a lot of people aren't even going to think about the first quarter, but Ron Rivera, everybody that wants to keep Ron Rivera, you can catch him. Just don't let him be Carolina Panther head coach. His conservativeness blows me so freaking bad. In the first quarter, 4th and 1, you got Cam freaking Newton. You're not going to go for it. Okay, all right, I got that. And then DJ Moore, he had a couple of fumbles and everything on the game and I understand that. But I'll just chalk it up as, he needs to learn how to take care of the ball better. He's a rookie.
We can't chalk it up. He can't cough it up. That's it. You can't cough it up.
We got more of DJ Moore, and DJ Moore was showing flashes of what he can do. But why is Curtis Samuel not out there? I don't get that. I really don't.
I have that written.
While we're there,
Samuel nowhere.
His poor decisions really freaking angers me. I have to count to 10 every time I see something stupid. And then his conservativeness killed us at the end of the game because he just let the clock wind down. So even if he didn't get it, he had 3 timeouts. Even if he didn't get it, you let the clock wind all the way down. So now you couldn't even call the timeout if he wanted to.
I know. I kind of wondered if we
should have. Yes. If you want to stick up for him, that's fine. Cam Newton actually played an up and down game, so I'm not going to criticize him too much. But that last throw that Christian McCaffrey was in the end zone was a horrible throw. So if you don't admit that, I don't know what to say.
Already did, man.
And the defense.
I wouldn't say horrible. It's a missed throw. It's a miss.
But yeah. All right. I think I'm going to go, and I don't even drink, but I might get a beer. I don't know. I might smoke some weed. I don't know.
You deserve it.
I am going to forget about this game, so you guys have a great day.
Cody, I would like to point out this is that this is from the very first from Funch's rookie year. I am wearing a shirt that I made with my buddy Trip Morgan. It's a very plain one, but it says Panthers don't funch rounds. So that's our little homage to Devin Funches, who did play big. I mean, he changed his favorite food from salad to egg salad. Got some protein in that diet. He's been tremendous. Now, do you think this is? Let's go back to the call. Brandon Herbert is zeroed in on Ron Rivera. This is not new for him, by the way. So this is not him just sounding off, folks. If you haven't listened to this show or this podcast or heard Black Cats before, it's not the first time. And what I'm trying to say is that he's consistent in this criticism here. Cody, how much of this falls on Ron Rivera?
I mean, see, this is, and I think I've said this before, but I don't know. Okay, so here's the perfect example. It was in the second quarter, and it was second, I believe it was 2nd and 17. And the play that was called was Christian McCaffrey right up the gut on 2nd and 17 when you needed to do something. Now, Ron Rivera is not the offensive coordinator Norv Turner is. But one of the things that I think we as Panther fans are learning or trying to figure out is, is Ron Rivera saying, in these certain sets of circumstances, we run and call these types of plays. I don't know. I'm still not certain on that yet. But listen, as time goes on, as we see how much talent we have on the football team, as we see the same problems that continue to happen year after year, and they don't go away and they're not getting better, you have to say that Ron Rivera is starting to be more and more of a problem. We have too much talent on this football team for the team to not be firing on all cylinders at the 5th week of the NFL season. It's a problem at this point. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I'm not saying that his job is on the line, but the thing is, we have a new owner now. So we don't know how long of a leash that Ron Rivera and Norv Turner have. I mean, we're assuming because of their success that it'll be a little while, but there are problems that I do believe are unique to the coaching staff right now, and it's more than just us playing on the field. I do think that it's a problem right now. Ron Rivera and some of the things that he has done, it's a problem. Far too conservative.
Shout out Tim Stellings, says he's enjoying the show in the chat room. Tin Tizzy, Moore is the reason we lost this game. And Daryl Beveridge, no excuses for DJ Moore. It's really hard. Let's in this credit right here to that is that it's really hard in the NFL to play when you give the other team points.
Yeah.
And we did this early. Now, it's not insurmountable, and I don't want to make a rookie feel like this. You lost us the game, because there's a lot of other things too that contribute to this loss. But if you started every game 7 points behind, it's already hard enough to win when the score is 0-0 to start the game. You know, that was a tough play for DJ Moore. Again, I think we felt the absence of Damiere Byrd. Bird watching, baby. I got to say it. And then I got to say, dang, maybe all are right. Damiere is fragile. How is he out? I question if this is really injury or if the Panthers are crowding people out on certain things. My own defense of my own guy there. But DJ Moore, he's going to have to learn, and this is the thing. All of these plays, Cody, come back to DJ Moore maybe trying a little too hard in places where it's not worth it.
Yeah, it is that, and then it's also the fact that we've been wanting to see more of him. So when we do see more of him, it costs up the ball. And again, it's his rookie season in the NFL. There are Hall of Fame players that have had terrible rookie seasons in the NFL. But, you know, now it makes you wonder, is the reason why we haven't seen as much of him is because at practice, this is the DJ Moore the coaches are dealing with. The one who will make mistakes like that. Yeah, I agree with Tim Tizzy. They did cost us the game. I mean, that's not far-fetched. Knowing that our momentum, when it gets subverted, it's a problem. And, man, at two critical moments, I mean, we had a 3-and-out to start the football game. That was absolutely huge, and then just handed him over right back damn near in the red zone. So, yeah, DJ Moore had a lot to do with the loss of this game, and it's kind of apparent.
Well, I do want to say that I'm not ready to chalk up to say he's even having a bad rookie year. I just want to remind people this. When you get guys that play with fight, that refuse to be – this is the Steve Smith mantra, is that the play isn't over until not only the whistle blows, but he's finished blowing the whistle.
Right. Right.
And that was what DJ Moore was doing early on, was trying to do too much in a situation. What I'm just saying is you got to remember those guys, and they will get wiser throughout their careers, is when is the payoff for that extra fight worth it? In this case, he's running around. He was already bottled up on that kickoff return. If he did do anything, it's going to get you 6 inches. But instead of even getting 6 inches, you fumble the ball. So this is the type of player I think DJ Moore is. This is the type of player we want him to be, and the reason he was drafted so high. So he's going to have to grow and continue to become wise in that. I do wonder where the heck was Curtis Samuel in this game. We're going to keep powering through these calls. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's keep going.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back. This is your boy, the Black Cat, Brandon Herbert. And
all right.
I'm having a discussion on Twitter with my man Cody. This is all right. So this is how I break the losses down. I put it 50%. I give 50% of the credit to freaking Ron Rivera, and I told you why on the previous message. He needs to be gone. He's a defensive coach. Why your defense look like that? Right. I put it 25% on the defense, and I'm giving 25% to Cam. The reason that I say that is
that's all fair.
He had an up and down game. He overthrew some receivers. Matter of fact, on that last drive, the touchdown drive, on that last drive to put us ahead, overthrew Christian McCaffrey by a mile when Christian McCaffrey was wide open. So, yes, I'm actually like coming around and seeing like Cam Newton has been playing pretty well, but like the last two games, it's like he's either trying too much or stuff just hasn't been going his way.
Out. He's
like
playing pretty well.
He had a rhythm and everything, and DJ Moore fumble. And like I said, I just chalked that up as rookie mistakes and everything like that. Not going to really harp on too much of DJ Moore. I love the kid. Hopefully he can progress and everything like that. But Cam Newton made some great throws, and then he made some horrible throws. And you can't make those horrible throws when the game is on the line. Like, I'm sorry, you just can't. The defense, oh my God. Remember when I told y'all in the draft that we needed to draft a freaking DN? And a lot of people were laughing that I wanted to draft a D in, first and second pick, which I'm glad we got the picks we got. But we need a pass rusher. I don't care how we get one, but we need one.
Younger pass rusher.
And
especially when our D tackles are making zero impact on the game.
On how bad our lack of pass rush can make your defense. And James Bradbury, will he ever make a freaking play? Will he ever make a play?
He's there. He's there every time.
I don't know.
They always
catch
it.
Every time he's in position to make a play, he drops the ball or something. Like he gets caught on. I'm not a fan of his, and I don't think he's that good. I know that y'all love James Bradbury. I don't think he's that good. And why the blip?
Y'all love James Bradbury. Like he eats steak.
Oh my goodness! Like how is Curtis Samuel not in on offense?
That's on the coaches, man. That's personnel.
All right, let's keep powering through these. Let's see if what if Brandon just calls like 12 times for an hour?
I'm into it. I just want to say one thing though. Our homie in the chat room, front seven, best in the game, which I like that nickname. Shout out to you. He wants to know why we're not talking about Eric Reed. And from what I know, what I'm thinking he's talking about is that after DJ Moore fumbled the ball and Eric Reed was just in position to let the tight end just have a wide open touchdown pass. Well, I mean, it's hard for me to blame Eric on that.
Is that the one where he shaded a little bit to the wrong side? Well, basically, I feel like what Alex Smith was just doing is going, which way is he going to shade a little bit?
Right, and he had some time in the pocket, too. So he was able to look him off. His eyes were on the right side of the field. That lets Eric know that he's looking for his primary read on his left, and then he just had a guy that was wide open on the right. And I'm not entirely sure that was 100% his fault. Other than that, unless you have another play that you have in mind, it didn't stand out to me as having some kind of terrible game where he blew coverages all the time. I didn't see that. Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe I was looking somewhere else. I don't know, but I didn't find Eric Reed to be that much of a liability today.
Here's the thing is that why we're not going to be overly critical on Reed yet. All right, is a couple of things. I saw this when it came to Olsen. I saw this when it came to Thomas Davis. I saw this when it comes to Eric Reed. These guys aren't in football shape right now. Olsen might not be able to get in max football shape because of potential injury, but they're starting to get gassed. You could see it on Olsen is that he was tired. And not to say that it really affected his game tremendously. You just got to wonder, too, where Eric Reed is in his conditioning and game speed conditioning. Now, the other thing, too, is you got to also ask, is Reed playing at free safety the best spot? And I don't know. We'll have to go back and look at that play and see if there were two safeties on. I do think it was single high, so, he's got to be faster there. I think one of the things you sacrifice with Reed a little bit is slightly a little speed or speed. You sacrifice speed for his size and his ability to be more of a box player at times. So I don't think it's us not calling him out. Is that earlier someone did say this, is he hasn't made an impact play yet. The only one he did today was that running game. But you could say that about a lot of guys on this defense. I think the only guy that's made some impact plays consistently at this point is Dante Jackson on the defense. Yeah. My question is this, is where is KK Short? Where is I saw the most bizarre usage of defensive tackles today. Vernon Butler and Kyle Love in there a lot. I was wondering, where is Short? Where is Short?
A whole lot. And I brought this up last Tuesday. Doesn't it feel like they're in almost a majority of the plays? I swear,
it's like dead even. It's almost like that. Here, you take this drive, you guys take the next drive.
Yeah, and I don't know if I agree with that, man. Why don't you want your best personnel on the field a majority of the time?
I think what you should be doing is rotating Butler so it goes like KK and Poe, and then KK and Butler, and then you take out one, and then you recycle them a little bit. It's more of a cycling thing. Now, I don't know how much time they have to be making these moves and these what do you call it when you substitutions. You know, that could be something to do with it. But at the same time, I just don't believe I've seen KK and Poe out there in the same. Also, I feel like Poe is on the different side when they run that, when they play the one technique. A lot of times, I feel like they're putting them like Star was always on the left side. And KK, I feel like that I can't even keep up with who's out there half the time now.
No, I really can't either. And the last thing I'll say about Brandon's call is I'm not as sour on James Bradbury as you are. I think James Bradbury, he's not an interception machine.
That's the truth. He's not an interceptor, period.
I mean, and I don't, he's already not the interceptor that Dante Jackson is his first year in the NFL. But what I will say is there are plays where he is dependable in making the tackle and preventing the big play. Now, do you want more out of him? Yeah, you really do. But at this point, I don't believe James Bradbury is a liability in coverage. If that's what was going on, then we have a cause to freak out over Bradbury. But right now, it's just a lack of interceptions. And I can live with that for right now.
My comment on that is not isolated to James Bradbury, Cody, is that a lot of guys made some plays. We're talking about Shaq Thompson, Thomas Davis out there, where they're all over the receiver, but the receiver comes down with the ball. That was the thing, is that you just wanted – there was a couple of times Mike Adams just smashed this kid. And when there was another time where Reed almost took a guy's head off, like he was about to blow him up. He got lucky. But those are the types of plays where the hit sometimes pops the ball out. We haven't had that just yet. So a lot of things going wrong, not a bunch of things going right at the same time. Let's keep going. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's get your voice heard on the C3 Panthers postgame show.
Cody from Virginia. I told you guys on Twitter I was going to be a contributor, so I figured I'd go ahead and start.
What's up, Cody?
Man, just wrapped up that game, and the tough part is we just weren't able to overcome those mistakes by DJ Moore. I know that was a really uncalled for throw, ill-advised throw, I guess you could say, from Cam down the field when Jano intercepted it, but from the grand scheme of things, I mean, honestly, there at the end, we played a pretty decent game. I wouldn't put that loss on Cam. Obviously, I would have liked to see there be a more, we say conservative play calling there at the end because, I mean, we had 2 timeouts. We could have played the middle. Everything we threw at the middle was fine. Outside, obviously, they were playing to make sure we weren't getting out of bounds so that, to preserve the clock. But, man, we still had those 2 timeouts on a 3rd and 5 and a 4th and 5. You think we'd throw it inside on a, Greg Olsen or even a, quick outside to, McCaffrey. McCaffrey's been, money on those inside slants like that. So, I mean, but once again, I mean, if he did that and those were incomplete or it was picked off, we're saying the complete opposite. He should have thrown them to the outside. So, it's a, as I say, I guess a game of inches and whatnot. I'm not going to sit here and complain about that. No call on that pass interference. We got plenty of no calls last week, and it's unfortunate. Karma's
that's the dang truth. We're not at home this week.
At the end of the day, man, I was impressed with how our offense, started to work together there at the end. TD made a huge impact on the game. A couple
early
of
on,
breakups
definitely.
And Mike Adams, man, he's hit or miss, man. He comes in and makes amazing tackles, and then, he'll let, wide receivers or tight ends down the field past him. It's unfortunate, but, then he comes in and he makes a nice big, pass break up there at the end, that could have almost been a interception by us if anybody was in the vicinity. But, guys, I guess it's DJ Moore I want to talk about, just because DJ Moore, at the end of the day, I've said from the beginning they needed to get him in there and exposed to the game more, and so on. Every time he's had the ball in his hand, he's been explosive up until today. And then, lo and behold, as a rookie, I guess, he has to have bad days, but this is a learning experience, I guess. But I just wish that he had a little bit firmer grip on that ball there. Those two plays, those are game-changing plays. Without those plays, this is a completely different outcome.
100%.
In my opinion, if you put that in a good spot. Don't want to make this too long, guys, but first-time caller, and appreciate what you guys do. It's awesome, and keep pounding us.
Wow, fantastic call. Way to splash onto the scene with your first call right there. Going back.
First call ever. I love it.
Yeah.
And might I just say real quick, great name, by the way. Strong name, masculine. That's a good name, buddy. I'm a fan of it myself.
So we go, it continues to go back to while we can be talking about the conservativeness of the play calling, the early on struggles of DJ Moore. Let's two things I want to talk about with that. One, Cody, I felt like they went to DJ Moore, went back to him after he made those errors a little too quickly. You can think of yourself in the heat of the moment. You're trying real hard to make a play on the game. You are the reason the team is down 7 points. Again, you are also the reason earlier, which we didn't really lead to a problem in the long run, but could have made a great play down there on that punt, but he runs in the end zone. He's just going so fast. He just couldn't get his body momentum going the other way. There was an opportunity to make a great special teams play there. So I feel like this, if you're that guy, you're the guy that has the pressure of being the number one pick. You know that Calvin Ridley is down there in Atlanta just tearing it up. You know that Mel Mayock tweets me, messages me every week and says, I told you we should have picked Calvin Ridley. He listens to the C3 podcast and he knows that. I feel like his emotions on an emotional player could have used a moment for him to say, all right, towards the end of this second quarter, first quarter, whatever it was, I think it was at the end of the first half, is like, give this guy a little break, not bench him. It's not a benching, but let's go with a little different personnel. I thought that would have been a great opportunity to bring in Curtis Samuel there.
Yeah, well, we wanted to see more of Curtis Samuel anyway. I mean, DJ Moore or no DJ Moore, we wanted more Curtis Samuel. And that's a coaching thing. That's a personnel decision. We already hear a lot of people in Panther fandom complaining about that, and rightfully so. He's back. He's another speed receiver on the field that creates separation. If you're going to make Cam drop back and throw the football, you want guys like Curtis Samuel on the field. However, Tony, I disagree with you, though, man. I think when you have a young receiver and he makes some mistakes and then you pull him right out the game, that kind of sits on him even more like, man, I blew it. Now, maybe you're not, and I understand you're not saying 100% pull him out.
Yeah, just a couple of plays. Just a couple of plays. Get some, just take a moment, get your composure.
Yeah, let him have some composure. But I'm also a fan of the mindset of, listen, man, shake that shit off, keep your head in the game, and keep on moving. And we believe in you. We trust you. You made a mistake, but now it's time to be on to the next one. And I do appreciate that, even though it might not have been the best decision, because you have to do that in football. You make a mistake, it's done. There's no point in dwelling on it. It's time to move on, and it's time to make plays. So, I don't know. It hurt us early, but at the end of the game, he did make some plays.
Yeah, and he shows that he gets the ball in his hand, Cody, and the play's not over.
No, not at all. And that's what we drafted him for.
And that's what we've been missing for so long on this team.
Yeah, the yards after the catch, that's a huge deal for us. And I feel every time he has the ball, you see that evident in him. But there just hasn't been that play that just wows you as of yet, and I think that's what we're all waiting for. But
all right, we've had a lot of talk about DJ Moore, a lot of talk about the coaching. Before we go on to the next call, the number is 252-228-5098. This is your show, your post-game, drive the conversation. Cody, I thought Eric Washington, as the game went on, started bringing the heat a little bit more. I know that he has been under fire. I think he's the truth. And when I say it, I don't think he's like going to be the messiah of defensive coordinators, but I've been happy in many ways with some of the things that this defense has done. At the same time, as I say that, I then continue to go, wait a minute, you were just talking about, where are these defensive tackles at? So
Yeah.
where are you thinking? Is this? I want to like Washington. I like people who
We all do.
look. And I like him for two reasons. He always tries to motivate his players rather than coming down on them. Instead of saying that we made mistakes, he says these things. We got it. We're gonna correct these things. This is gonna be the great defense. So he's encouraging in that light. But I also like people who look perpetually and naturally angry. So he looks angry on the sidelines. I like that part.
Yeah, he does. And listen, credit to him for seeing that we weren't getting enough pressure with just our front four. And if you remember that final drive by Washington, I believe it was Adams. On the blitz, came rushing in and got right in Alex Smith's face, batted down the pass, and that was a big deal for us. Prevented the touchdown. You know, if we had some better things go our way on offense, that defensive drive, that would have helped us win the whole thing. So kudos to Washington for being able to adjust. But yeah, that said, and I feel as though it has to be apparent to him. I mean, he's a defensive line coach. That's where it comes from. The lack of pressure is something that we're still talking about. We're still talking about it. Shaq Thompson probably has just as many sacks and quarterback hits as anyone on our line. And I feel that's a problem, you know. Today wasn't the best day for our defense, but at the end of the game in the third and fourth quarter, where I was critical of them in the New York game, he turned it on more, and we were able to do some things that we weren't able to do in the first half. We made some halftime adjustments, so I think credit is deserved on Eric Washington's behalf on this game.
Back to the final thing that caller brought up was Mike Adams, long in the tooth, Mike Adams. Yeah. You know, while at the same time, look, I mean, Mike Adams is going to be like that. Because he's not as physically gifted. He's not a physical freak like a Peppers is. Right. You can get away with it a little bit more when you're secondary. Here's the thing is this wasn't Mike Adams today that was the problem. The problem was another old fella, and Adrian Peterson, who shows you this. Yeah, man. That he can blast your ass from here to the 10-yard line. That's a big mofo. So if you get him getting a head of steam going today, it's hard to bring him down. The Panthers had a lot of trouble tackling Adrian Peterson because of his sheer size and power. Yeah, man. Listen, sometimes you can teach an old dog new tricks, you know. Or his old tricks.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's like Adrian Peterson has never been known for his jump cuts. You know, I mean, normally he's just barreling forward, but someone forgot to tell him that today because we plugged up some holes well, and then he was like, "Nah, miss me with that. I'm gonna bounce it to the outside," and he made plays, man. And I think one of the things that's the most uncharacteristic of our defense is we're just letting teams run the ball on us.
That is the truth.
We have traditionally been one of the hardest teams in the NFL to run the ball against, and yet they're just doing it over and over. And it's very uncharacteristic of us, and something has to give, man. I mean, there's too much talent on our defense to let that continue to be an issue over and over and over.
All right, let's continue through with your calls. Sounds like a toilet flushing.
Yeah, that's what I think of. Ron Rivera, man. Kitty play calls all day. These guys get paid good money to do what they do. Playing like rookie ball. Can't say enough about Cam Newton, man. Get rid of Cam Newton. We need a quarterback bad.
Oh, God.
Real bad.
That's it. Was that the end of that call?
That's it. So it started out funny and then ended shitty as well.
For the most part, you know, I'm cool to everyone that calls into the cat calls because they're all cool with us. But if you think that Cam Newton is the problem with this football team, you don't know a whole effing lot about football, bro. Step your game up, son. Sorry, I'm not sorry. That's all I got to say.
I'm not sorry. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's keep powering through these calls, Cody.
All right, guys. Look, my name's TJ.
What's up,
I'm
TJ?
best in the game. Look, I'm really irritated right now because I was so excited when we signed Eric Reed, but for some reason, he had two blown coverages, one for a touchdown to Vernon Davis, and one for a touchdown to one for a catch to set up a touchdown to Vernon Davis. I thought when we signed him, he was supposed to be a game changer. What is going on? Is he playing too much right now, or what do we need to do? Do we need to play someone else and play him like 25% of the snaps until he gets the big picture? Because he was exposed this game. Y'all's comments, please. Thank you.
All right, this is a tough question. It's the hardest question because, you know, Cody, when you root for something to happen, you want it to work the way you foresaw it. So
the way you envisioned it.
Yeah, so we've been rooting for someone, for the Carolina Panthers, to bring in a difference maker for the last year at this position, make a commitment. You know, you wonder just and partially is this. You got to wonder too, have we been misled about how actually great Eric Reed was as a player? I do think he's a good player, and I said this a couple of weeks ago on the show, is now he's got to show it on the field, because I can tell you a lot of guys who were two-time Pro Bowl players that haven't, you know, Eli Manning was a two-time Pro Bowl player. He's also not in the apex of his career in 26 years ago, 26 years old. Again, I'm just going to say this, is that I'm going to be a little gracious on Eric Reed at this point and what we need him to do and contribute to this team because of how much time he's missed in football. And these guys, training camp does bring these pros closer. The preseason brings them closer. He didn't have the opportunity of the first 3 games of the season. Again, that brings you more and more. Look, we got guys that have rust on them who went through preseason, who went through training camp and played some of those first 3 games. So I'm going to continue to chalk this up to that. Cody, I think this is a good point, though, is maybe are you asking him to do a little bit too much in a realistically? Last week he played some crazy amount of snaps, like 80% of the snaps. They were the coaching staff's really excited about him, obviously.
I mean, listen, this is kind of how I break down on the Eric Reed situation. You know, Brandon Herbert has been saying he said in his last call, you know, he wanted to draft a defensive end or draft another pass rusher. And I have been personally saying for a long, long time, it's time to draft safeties. I mean, they have been the most undervalued position in our defensive backfield. And the trend is swinging the other way. You find corners in the later rounds, and then you really go up for your safeties, for your Jamal Adams, for your Derwin James, for your Minka Fitzpatricks. Go up and get those difference-making safeties. So the way I fall on it is this. We have the rest of the year with Eric Reed. If he isn't the guy, then we will know by the end of this year that he isn't the guy. And that will determine if we want to re-sign him. He's still young. He still has a lot of talent in him. His numbers have been good. I mean, from the time he stepped in to now, his numbers have been top quality safety numbers. So, you know, it's if we were excited, it was for a reason. You know, there was a reason to be excited about Eric Reed. But that being said, there's no guarantee that he's our free safety next year. I think that maybe the answer might be put him down in the box, change up him and Mike Adams.
Or maybe consider putting in Golden and him together. And that stinks. I don't want to say – see, here's the problem is, again, you know, Mike Adams may have been a free safety historically, but as you get older and you lose that step, I just feel like free safeties need range. And that's tough. I think that was probably not Eric Reed's best part of his game in the first place, at the apex of everything. And I'm not saying he was bad at it, but he was a big size free safety that could line up on tight ends, that could get down in the box, that was fast enough to have be rangy. But I don't think it was like Dante Jackson, where you were like, his number one quality is the field coverage, you know?
Yeah.
So it's to be determined. The good news for the Carolina Panthers is that, there's two things to remember. What do you do if you don't play him? Right? Yeah. So it's not like you can just plug and play somebody else in there and get a different result. And second, you're absolutely right, Cody. This is a 1-year thing at this moment, and maybe it comes on strong later. I just continue to say this, is that I was going, where the hell is Luke Kuechly in this game? That's what I was saying.
I mean, I tell you what, man. Shout out to the Roaring Riot. Shout out to all the Panther fans that traveled. Because, trust me, we noticed some Luke chants. It may not have been as numerous, but, one of the things I think Luke has a problem with is those quick cuts, you know? If someone's right in front of him, they can juke Luke out of their shoes. But if Luke has a little bit of space, he's the best in the NFL. I don't know, man, but it's not unique to him. I think, you and I probably agree that there's a lot of people on this team right now that they have not been playing to the level that we have seen them play before. We know they play better than what they're doing on the field right now.
All right, next call.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Daryl Beveridge. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I moved there in 1999 from Richmond, Virginia. I've been a fan of them ever since. And I'm very, very pissed right now.
Oh.
I would try to control my emotions and not speak out of turn.
It's okay. Let it
out. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about was some things that I even noticed starting with yesterday. When they were going to catch the plane, to fly to D.C. and all. It was 46 photos put on internet showing different shots of Thomas Davis and Cam Newton and others with, suits on, fly suits on, poses and all that. And then they get in the game and they come out the gate like, what. I'm just so sick and tired of this team. I don't know what to do. Coach Rivera, you need to be in this stuff. All this showboating and stuff for what? They showboat, they play like what. I'm just tired. I'm tired. I've been a fan since '99, and I'm just sick of the product that you put out on the field. Cam Newton can't make every single throw. That's just not going to happen. But there are other things that he could do that a lot of other quarterbacks can't that works for us. Where was C.J. Anderson, a Pro Bowl running back, only 27 years old, and he doesn't get to touch the ball at all, especially in key situations where we need a first down, we need maybe a yard. That is ridiculous. Right now, that's about all I got to say. I'm just hot right now. And like I said, if I get on the radio station, I promise you I'll keep my tongue, but I am livid right now. Thank you.
My man, what, first of all, I think you were nice on him. I think you were nice there. I do want to bring this up. Go to C.J. Anderson. I got this in my notes. This is at the end. This is the second quarter. Do you remember the second quarter, the half that would never end, Cody? Where it was like 1 minute left, and there was 1 minute left, and there was essentially we couldn't get out of the half, and this was when we had to punt it essentially out of our end zone, right? But we threw. Remember when we took the delay of game, Cody, and we had to back up farther and farther. Well, what you had there is that you ran the ball a few times in there, and look, Christian McCaffrey has been effective, but I just felt like, hey, here's the time to bring the big baller, the bruiser, in, and he's not there. So there is 0-0 C.J. Anderson. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a proof when it comes to Christian McCaffrey that you have to do something that C.J. Anderson has done. He's got to be frustrated.
An anonymous worm on Twitter says we ran 47 times with CMC and 0 with CJ Anderson. And, if you look at what our division rival does, the Saints, and they just got back, what's his name? Ingram, Mark Ingram, their running back. And it's a tandem, man. They're able to use both of them effectively. And while Anderson may not be to the level of Mark Ingram as a running back, there's no reason why why we can't do a similar thing, why we cannot use them in tandem to, really make this offense off their rhythm and throw them off rhythm. I don't know, man. I also wanted to see CJ Anderson up there a lot more than we did. And to what he was saying about our team taking the photos and the swag and all that, I understand where it's coming from. I feel that right now that's just a team culture thing right now, man. The players want to be able to have fun and express themselves. And you're not the only fan that hates that kind of stuff too, man. A lot of fans will say, "Hey, man, you haven't done anything. We haven't done anything yet." I mean, there's no reason for all this celebration. There's no reason to celebrate yet. So I understand. I might not hate it as much as you do. But yeah, man, listen, it's time to go out there and prove something and leave the swagged out pictures to a little bit later down the road, maybe. So I understand it, man. I really do.
Powering through these calls, this is going to be a prank.
Hey, my name is Marcus Whiteside, and the Panthers look like they could suck my dick.
He brings in, I think there's going to be another call from him that is like that. Marcus, nobody wants to. Going through.
Hey, guys. This is Mel. It was a rough game. I watched it down here in Houston. And it was rough, but there was a lot of good that could come out of it. If we can play the rest of the season like we played that second half, then we'll be a very hard team to beat. I think the thing that came down, or what the loss came down to, was turnovers. I know a lot of us want to blame the defense, but when you think about it, the defense stopped the Redskins, and then the first fumble put them like on their 20 where you can easily get a touchdown from there. And then the second fumble ended up taking at least 3 points off the board for Carolina. So, not to put the whole blame on DJ Moore or Cam Newton, but those were big plays, and it's not a cliche for a reason that they say that if you win the turnover battle, you usually win the game. That's the case that came here, and unfortunately, our defense wasn't able to get a turnover unless you count the turnover on downs that we got, but it's just the way the cookie crumbled this game. But I think we played a solid game. We got to shake it off, get ready for Philly next week, and I'm proud that the team they kept pounding through the whole game. They kept pounding and tried to win the game. I think one other thing that we need to work on is when we're in that situation in the red zone, and we still have room to get a first down. Like, taking a shot towards the end zone is nice, but getting the first down should be the priority. So, that's just my thoughts on it anyway. But anyway, it was a good game. Talk to you guys, I guess, Tuesday. Bye.
Entertaining game, Cody. That's the truth. I do think this is that the thing that stands out to me about that call, Cody, is that the team hasn't quit yet in a game.
No, and I have not seen anything like a quitting nature from this football team. I think we're still okay, man. And listen, what I don't want to do is sound the alarms and say, our season it's looking bad. We're 3-2. To me, this kind of has the feel of Chicago last year. We lost a game that we should have won, that should have been our game, and it just wasn't. We did display a fighting spirit. There is a lot to be happy about, even though we lost, so we're talking about all the bad stuff. It's not over, man. It's time to take a day, lick your wounds, and it's back to the grind, man. This season doesn't slow down for anyone. There's a lot to like about this football team, and it's time to just move forward.
Giant audience on YouTube and Periscope. Thank you so much. Go ahead, if you're watching on YouTube, turn your phone to portrait mode. Smash that thumbs up button. The number to be a part of the show is 252-228-5098. If there are any final calls, I'll field them on my own. I know that we got to get to wrapping the show up soon. Final call right now in the queue. Let's see what they got to say.
Hey guys, it's Ryan from Charleston again. I called 2 weeks ago and told you guys that I was a little irritated with how often we give the ball to Torrey Smith and Devin Funchess. Today, Funchess played great.
Torrey Smith pretty well too.
Held his own and came in clutch when we needed him today. And I also said how we need to let DJ Moore play and Curtis Samuel and Damiere Byrd. I didn't see Damiere Byrd even on the field today. Not sure why.
I think that's injury.
Curtis Samuel, didn't really see anything out of him today. Not sure why after the great week he had last week.
Nobody's sure about that.
But I like to see that we kept going back to DJ Moore, even after his fumbles earlier. But today's game, I'm going to have to pin on the defense. Couple things. Luke Kuechly does not look the same as what we're all used to seeing.
Telling you.
I don't want to say he's playing scared. I don't want to say he doesn't know what he's doing, but it's almost like he's playing a step slower, trying to make himself last longer because, he might not want to get hurt again. So I'm not really sure what's going on with there. But we have no pressure up front. Like, I noticed that was the biggest thing is Alex Smith had all day to throw the ball. There's no pressure whatsoever. Like, even when we get close, the quarterbacks just scramble out the pocket, and we have got to fix the front four. We got to fix the front four. That's all I can say. Pepper's got one good hit, but I wasn't impressed with him really either. Mario Addison, okay, I guess. I don't know. But, like, Dontari Poe and K'Wan Short, there's no pressure up the middle.
Missing.
Every single play, the outside defensive ends, they go too far up, and then the middle of the field's wide open because whoever's playing defensive tackle is not getting any pressure at all whatsoever. So, as much as I want to blame the loss today on DJ Moore, and Cam's bad throws, of course, the last 3 throws he threw was horrible play calling, not good passes, but I got to put the game today on the defense because both of Moore's fumbles were on our side of the field. So it's not like we gave him the ball right in front of the goal line. So I don't know. It's a tough loss today.
All right. Thank you, Ryan, for your call. Ryan from Charleston. He's in Joe Riolano's stomping ground. Guys, it's the C3 Panthers at Redskins post-game show. Thank you for all the people in the chat room powering through. One of the things that, look, I think Ice Up Sun in the chat room says this, 3 turnovers cost us, not the defense. Look, one of those turnovers, let's not count as a turnover. The Cam Newton interception was an arm punt. While it's not ideal that it happened, is that it was equivalent to a bad punt. I also Cody, one of the things I understand at times that the defense in this hasn't played as lights out as we wanted, particularly in the run in some cases. But they have kept us in games. They have not broken completely. I'm going to point out to this, at 3:35 left in the fourth quarter, on 3rd down and 5, the Panthers get, and this is on the 9-yard line, I believe. The Redskins have a chance to put this game away. They score a touchdown here. It really puts it into a 2-score game, and the Panthers probably don't have a chance of coming back. I mean, obviously they didn't have a chance of coming back in a 1-score game. But we have a huge stop here. We hold them to just a field goal, I believe, at that point. So the defense, certainly, what the defense hasn't done is won games for us yet. I won't go far as to say, though, that they have lost games for us, though, either.
No, they haven't lost us a game. I mean, listen, we're 3-2. One was to Atlanta, and we've talked about that a number of times. And this game, at the end of the game, the defense did their job, you know? I mean, we talk about forgetting the bad plays and moving on and just, you know, doing your job, whatever it is right now. And our defense did that, man. We stopped them from getting another touchdown. And if they did, that would have been the end of the game for us right then and there. Even if we would have driven for another touchdown, it would not have mattered. But, yeah, and it's something that we're probably going to have to talk about more, do some investigation. I don't know what's going on. But I have not seen the defense like this in a long time. And it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't. It doesn't. You know what it comes back to is that we said it last week on the show on Tuesday night. And Joey said it 4 weeks ago. It kind of feels old.
It does. It does feel old. We have some age in our backfield with Adams, you know, Julius Peppers. You know,
I mean, even Dontari Poe is an old 28.
Yeah, I mean, we need an infusion of life on our defense, and you know, another thing to think about is we drafted a guy by the name of Marquise Haynes out of Ole Miss, and Obata. I mean, I haven't seen Haynes have one snap.
He didn't play. He didn't even travel with the team. It was something to the effect of they said family-related illness, whatever that means. I mean, obviously it means that somebody else is in your family is sick. And you have to go visit them, but I don't know if that is. You know, I don't trust anything anybody says in the NFL. Like, is that could mean that he's kicked off the team for all I know, or he's. You know, I don't trust the team to convey any accurate information unless they absolutely have to.
So listen, I'll throw this out there at you. Cam Newton, he was doing the press conference as we were talking on Twitter. Max Simpson says that Cam Newton says, "My days of sobbing are over. I'm excited about what the future holds." Then Devin Funches says, "We will," in all caps, bounce back.
That shows tremendous growth, does it not, Cody? This is one of the things, like you were saying, let's caution this. The sky is not falling. We're 3-2. Look, Cam's going out there and saying, look, we're right there. We just got to win.
Listen, we're number 2 in the division right now, and the Saints are getting ready to go on a murderer's row of a schedule. All we have to do is win the division, and even though Atlanta won today, that defense is absolute trash. Tampa Bay is falling. The sky is not falling. The Panthers are fine. We just need to retool some things, and we have to play better defense. Call me a glutton for punishment. I don't know, but I still think this defense has it within them to turn it around.
Guys, we just got to hang around. We got to keep pounding. That's what we got to do. Season's not won or lost on a single game. It's the culmination of 16 games where the Carolina Panthers right now are in division contention. I understand this hurts, folks. No one wants to lose. We don't want to lose, especially when the taste of victory is right in your sight. The game comes down to a game of inches, a game of plays, and we didn't make enough plays this week. But we're not going anywhere. The C3 podcast is going to be here on Tuesday night to chop this up even more and look ahead. I don't know. I think we got Philadelphia on the horizon. It's going to be tough. We're going to get back. I'm ready to fight those guys. I'm ready for the Panthers to eat an eagle. Cody Lashley, you're going to be around on Tuesday night for the C3 Panthers podcast on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook when we can.
You already know that I am. C3 Nation, we rep this strong. We're going to be here. Remember, guys, you run the show. Call the cat calls. Leave us your message. We want to talk about what you want to talk about. That's why this show exists. We love you. Thank you for joining us. Don't let this loss get you down. Enjoy the rest of your weekend to everybody.
Subscribe to the C3 podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. Follow us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Support the show considering Patreon, but the biggest thing you can do is tell a friend and tune in and be a part of the show via Cat Calls Line, the chat, We got you. It's Panther Nation here and forever. Together, keep pounding.